Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. I am here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. Are you aware that fear actually inhibits your ability to manifest the things that you desire? Because there's probably a good chance that the fear that you have revolves around the very thing that you want. Fear that you won't get it. Fear that you may get something you don't want. And it all revolves around the things that's most important to you, the thing that you desire in your life. It's sort of a catch-22, isn't it? So, got to make sure my mic's on. So today I want to talk about, and by the way, I have courses, a lot of you have asked, like, so how do I do this? How do I get past it? It's going to take practice. And it's going to take certain techniques that you find work for you. And they may change constantly. I know that there are things that I used to watch years ago that I don't even want to watch it anymore. It's just, it's like, it's like trying to learn a tricycle when you're already riding a bike, a two-wheel bike. You're going to progress. And you have to find those people that speak to you, those techniques that speak to you. Now, I'm not a big person on techniques, but when I say techniques, I mean those practices that really, they reinforce how you feel and how you relate to the world. So I may say one thing and you're going to go, oh my gosh, that resonates with me. So find those things. We all need each other. We are all one. We are all at different places experiencing different things, but we are one energy. And it's like, this hand is going to help this hand pick up the jar. It's just all part of the body. These fingers work together as a unit. Even though they're separate, they're still part of the body. That's what you and I are. We're part of the one energetic body, helping each other. If you think of it that way, it's pretty cool, isn't it? So if something's misbehaving and going against what you're trying to accomplish, and you got this one finger that refuses to grasp the jar, and it might slip because of that, you could drop the jar and break it. That's how important you are. It may not seem like it at the time, but that is how important you are. I want to talk today about what our expectations are and of us and of the world. Now, I want you to think about this. I'm sure we've all had it. There are people that expect you to be a certain way, think a certain way, behave, act a certain way. You may have had parents that expected you to be a certain type of person, acting and behaving in the world in a way that probably mimics them, or in some cases is everything they wanted to be and weren't, so they expected in you. So I want to put that in its right perspective, because I want you to remember that when you see that happening and you see the world, the people that love you, the people that don't love you, friends, whatever, family, putting that pressure on you or being judgmental or whatever, I want you to remember that you're doing that too. We all do it, no matter how awakened we are, unless you go to a super awakened state where you absolutely never go into that zone anymore, and that's possible, by the way. Some of you probably are there. I know myself, there's always a set of certain beliefs and conditioning that you grow up with that never goes away. It's like fear. And what I teach you is, don't expect those to go away. They will actually fade and no longer participate in your thinking and your actions and even in your belief systems, but they will appear and resonate. So that's the same thing that's happening to other people when they're judging you, only they may not be as awakened as you are, so they don't even realize what they're doing. They think that what they're thinking and believing is right, and that if everybody adhered to their beliefs, the world would be a better place. They really truly believe that. So I want you to remember that. It's not like they're believing something because they want bad for everybody. They really don't. Even people with their finger on the button to blow up the bomb believes that they are creating a world that's better, even though it's better revolving around their ego. It's still them believing that what that final goal is to achieve something great and beautiful and whatever. They're just coming from a super dense place. So the denser you are, the more the ego becomes this dense thing. That's why I tell you, when you meditate and you're thinking, or you're contemplating something, push that energy out, connect to everything, become everything. Now, I know it's tough to what are you talking about? Actually imagine, you're in here when you're upset and afraid and all this stuff, and, the ego is in here, in a dense place in the body. And then if you just relax and imagine your energy pushing out, you'll start to release that. And what happens when you push out, you are actually connecting to that of which you are. All probabilities, all answers, all peace, all love, all joy, all ideas, all possibilities, meaning the ability to stop being so staunch in what your beliefs and thinking are. So when somebody comes to you and they're like, what are you doing? You go get a job, or you should go to school, or you shouldn't go to school, or how many different things. I mean, how many parents you're supposed to get a college degree? I messed around with that. I didn't really do it till, I went to college, and then I would go off and do things, and I'd come back and go to college. Or I came back and went to college when I was really ready and good for it. We're not all on the same path, but the world dictates their own personal egotistical beliefs on others because they've been told that's right. So I want you to remember that when people are doing that to you and you allow it to affect you, you're believing it too, that you're doing something wrong and it feels bad to, let them down, or maybe they're right. It's just coming from a belief system. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Let me put this light on because it's getting a little dark in here. It's a rainy, rainy day in Georgia. There. Let's put some light on the subject. All right, so what happens is they genuinely believe that by doing these certain things and having you come along with their world, that they're creating some kind of stability, or at least unknown. They can relate to, they have something to hang on to. They know that here's what we do, and here's, here we go to school, and we have certain jobs, and we take care of our families, and passion and loving your life isn't really part of that unless you go on vacation. That world's gone. That world is gone. But people still cling to it, and it's not working. But they're still teaching it to others and believing that what they believe, everybody else should believe or live. Now, this is interesting because almost everybody does this. Almost everybody does this, except for, a super awakened or, Buddhist monks or whatever. Even they have to deal with this. You remember the story of the two monks that had a vow of silence for a very long period of time. They're making their way back. Part of the whole thing of certain sects of Buddhism or whatever, and I don't claim to know this, by the way, some of them can't touch women or interact with women. I don't know. They all have their thing, right? But I do know there are some beliefs that that's not allowed, or for certain monks or whatever. So that's what these two believed, and they were on their way back to the monastery, at which time then they would be able to speak again. But they still were in a code of silence, so they're walking down the street, and it's muddy, and there's a beautiful, a little girl, standing on the side, a woman standing on the side with her beautiful robes on. Silk robes, and she couldn't get across the street without muddying her robes. So one of the monks goes over and lifts her and carries her to the other side and drops her off. So they continue on with their journey. Hours and hours go by, and the other monk was just appalled that he, carried this woman across the road and broke the vow, one of his vows. So they finally get to the monastery, and the second monk blurts out, "I can't believe you picked that woman up and took her this side, that that's in violation of our vows and whatever." And the monk who had carried the woman over said, I only carried her over for a moment, but you've been carrying her for miles and miles and miles. So that one belief that he thought that that's what should be done and that the other monk should do it, even though he has free will, and he carried that with him. He let it bother him the whole time. Don't we all do that? Don't we do that? We make a decision that this is how things are. Don't touch a woman or whatever it was that they believed. Hours and hours and hours go by. Maybe it's a whole day they're walking. The whole time this guy's letting it bother him. We do that, don't we? We carry that with us. Why? Because we believe something and somebody didn't do what we believe is right or what we chose for ourselves. How many times a day are you doing that? We do it all the time with the government, with our education systems, with religions, with people at work, how they should and shouldn't believe, what they should and shouldn't be doing. And it's none of our damn business. It's none of our business. It's not. They have free will. And just remember, that's being done to you. People are doing that to you. They're judging about how you should think, what you believe, if you're right or wrong. Because they, for some reason, feel like the rest of the world is supposed to feel and think and act like they do and believe as they do. Why? The ego totally is a control freak. So even parents, most parents will constantly disapprove. If you have kids, are you doing this? If a kid wants to do something a little bit different, and it's not harmful to that child or anybody else around them, what is it you might be afraid to allow them to go experience? Well, I'm stopping them from, ruining their lives. Are they? Isn't it their life to live? And if they need to do something, if they truly do, and it's not some ridiculous, stupid thing that's going to harm them, I need to jump off the roof, something like that. Would it be so terrible if they experienced something and really got to experience failure? What's the best lesson we can learn? Failure. It's growth. It's expansion. It's, okay, that wasn't so great. I want to be a musician for a living. Then after, a couple of years of starving and having to play because for reasons that you don't want to, it's not creative anymore. You go, okay, maybe I have to get a job that pays, and that's not so bad because I like money and eating more than I do starving and playing for the wrong reasons. That's life, that's experience. We're so afraid to allow each other to do that. Why does anybody else have to believe and think the way you do? Why? Why do people argue? So we can sit and have these discussions about ideas, but at no point would we benefit from arguing with somebody about a point, a belief. That's why I never discuss politics or religion with anybody. It's like, take your politics into the voting booth. I don't need to hear them. And practice your religion. I don't have to go to your church. I don't have to believe what you do for it to be good for you or right for you. Be careful of doing that to others and recognizing that it's being done to you and where it's coming from. We're told that things are supposed to be a certain way. And we believe that thing, that it's right, and therefore we impose it on the world because we believe that the world will then be right. But it won't. It's called diversity. We all come from different cultures and we don't celebrate that enough. We so often look at it as a threat. Getting back to fear. So when somebody comes to you, your mom or dad, or somebody's criticizing you, first of all, you could really come back with some really good ones like, well, I'm your DNA. Excuse me, isn't this all DNA? So you're not liking it right now? And then, I have free will. Why do you feel that I have to live the life that you want me to? Ask them that in a very nice manner and see what they say. Say, why is it so important for you to have me live the life you think I should instead of me living the life that I choose? Well, because I'm going to stop you from hurting yourself. How do you know that, mom or dad or whoever's saying? How do you know that? And what if I go experience that and it doesn't turn out as I like? Wouldn't that be a positive thing for me to find out firsthand instead of having a dream and never knowing? Because I can always go back to school. I can always go back and get a job. I can always go reinvent myself or learn something new. But if I do not explore this thing now and go in 100%, then I'm not living the life I choose. I'm living the life that you choose. And then see what they say. But you don't have to get in a debate with anybody. You don't have to defend your position. Just ask questions and try and find out where their forceful opinions are coming from. They believe it's the best for you. It's usually coming from a place of positivity and love, caring, and brainwashing, believing that they're doing the right thing. So if you can look at it that way, then you can relax a little bit, people. By the way, if anybody criticizes you, like I know a couple of you said, your parents or whatever, picking on your looks or weight, say, you gave me the genes, Dad or Mom. This is your DNA here. You're looking at it, both of you. And when it comes to other things like your boss or anybody else, you don't even have to say anything. Just consider that they're coming from the same place you are. Because why is it bothering? Because you don't think the way they do. So you're thinking something that you believe is right just as strongly as they are. That's why you're upset, right? Because they believe something and they're imposing their beliefs on you. And you're upset because they're not your beliefs. So you're no different than them. Otherwise, and this is when you'll know you're truly in an awakened state, you just sit and listen to it, and it has no effect on you. It's like, okay, that's what you believe. And then you continue on with your life. Why do people get so upset when, you say something and they don't agree? It's like they're in their head with this set idea that the ego believes is true. And they're looking at things in a negative way. That's a threat, that's a that. So again, let's deal with some real extreme personalities, negative personalities. We got some people that could, nuke us. How do you battle that? You don't. This is why it's so important for us to send compassion and light and love to the universe. That's quantum physics, and that works. That's why we're still here. That's why we're not nuked yet. Because people are raising their frequency. They're being compassionate, understanding that we're all trying to come out of this stronghold of beliefs and conditioning and fears that have been passed down. And some people have taken it down to the deepest, darkest level. It's an experience. It's all we're here for, people. Do not be afraid. This is all just experiences. So instead of getting upset and they said this and that's your ego needing approval. If you're upset over somebody said, your ego is needing approval and believes that they somehow have more power than you do, that their beliefs are much more relevant than yours. Otherwise, you would just listen to it. It would have no effect on you because they're just words. They're just words. Yeah, words can be powerful, but so can yours. So if somebody says something you don't like, just sit there and think, wow. Not with judgments, like, they're into their ego and I'm not. Well, you are if you're thinking that. And just sit there and think, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So this person may be struggling with something and they're projecting that out on you. I had a really positive, you know me, my videos are always geared, there's nothing negative in my videos ever, ever. I may talk about certain things, about where it comes from, but I'm always giving you a solution for that. Somebody said that one of my videos was too negative. And I thought, well, that person is coming, and I posted it. I posted the comment because that's their opinion. They're allowed that. And I thought, that's interesting that this, what I thought was a very positive video, they saw it negatively because that's where they're coming from. So they heard the things in the beginning about me talking about, I think it was the ego, about how the ego and fear, what it does to you, how it's functioning. And I don't think they ever got past that. They heard that, and they didn't get past the solutions and the ways where we can get past it and how to deal with it. So their mindset was probably in that place of fear and maybe not feeling good, and that's why they watched the videos. They were hoping to feel better. And when they heard that, they grasped onto it and stayed in that darker place instead of watching it all the way through and hearing the solution. That's where they were. That's where that person was. They saw it as negative. It didn't resonate with them in a positive way. That's where their thinking is. I'm not going to change that. I'm not here to change that. I hope someday that person watches that video again and thinks, what made me think that was negative? It's all meant to be positive. That's because their view of the world shifted. Everything's coming from your beliefs and the thinking that comes from those beliefs. And you're thinking a certain way, and that's how everything that you're perceiving is coming to you based on what you're believing and thinking. Everything. The worst possible situation could come to you, and it would have no negative effect on you if you were thinking and believing in a completely different way than if it came and freaked you out. It's all this shift in here. Even when I see horrible things happening, I'm thinking, first of all, we're on the crazy planet. We accepted to come here, so I look at it and say, my work has to continue. I must work on my frequency, and these things too shall pass. These horrors will pass. How? Because I'm helping to contribute to the higher frequency. And that person who might have been doing something that's not cool, one day may stop and think, I'm done with this. And they don't know why. Because there's beautiful frequencies working in and through them at all times. And then their free will at some point will choose that higher frequency. Why? Because we're sending those messages. So never stop sending those messages. That's how you make a difference. Not by having your ego stand here and dictate what others should do because you think it's right. And a lot of spiritual people, I don't even like that. We're spiritual. That separates us from everybody. Everybody's spiritual. They're just choosing different things, that's all. So when you separate yourself, you're no different than the person who's got their finger on the bomb button. No different. It's still judgment. It's still coming from a separation mindset. So catch yourself. If you think about it, it's amazing how much you do it all day and you don't even realize it. Because you think you're coming from a positive standpoint, you think it's good. But it's still imposing your thoughts and ideas and beliefs on somebody else, and you think other people should do this. How can we make the world? The world will make itself. How can we get through to these people? They will find their journey. Allow them that. You did, and you still are. We all are. What's so terrible about that? Let them make mistakes. Let them fall flat on their face. You want a great lesson? Do that once in a while. You get tired of it? You'll be motivated to make changes. But nobody can do that for you or tell you how to do that. That's why we're here. If we were on the other side right now, we would not be able to experience anything like we do when we're in a body and dense and feeling it and believing that it's real. See, over there, it's like reading a book, right? So come here and really experience it and have somebody tell you that you're not really a dense being, that you're a beautiful spirit that can do anything you want, and that you're powerful beyond your imagination, limitless. And we're all sitting there going, it sounds great, but I'm not feeling that. That's that density. That's that challenge. It's like, yeah, you're not feeling it. You know why? Because you forgot all that when you came down here so that you could experience this in the breakthroughs. Don't be afraid of the breakthroughs. There's no such thing as failure. Don't be pushing that on somebody else, and when they push it on you, just say, they're no different than me. They have their own beliefs. They feel like they have to express them. Bless them. I don't have to believe that. And I don't have to impose my feelings and beliefs on somebody else. Can you be at peace with everything? It's going to be a tall order. You can do it. So, I hope this was helpful. I hope that maybe it'll shift your thinking a little bit. Like, ooh, actually, I'm upset that other people impose their stuff on me, but am I doing that? Even through your thoughts. Can't believe they're doing. They should do this or that. Oh, there's a person on their journey. Why don't you do that? This next time say, oh, there's a person on a journey. Bless them. I hope that they find that higher frequency and send yours to them. Not in a judgmental way. They've got to separate those two things, right? And ask yourself, am I judging right now, or do I genuinely, really release all of those feelings and beliefs I have about what they should and shouldn't be doing? And can I just accept the fact that they're learning, that I am too? We're all going to get there, people. We're all going to be there. We're all going to be there. And then guess what we're going to do? We're going to go off and re-challenge ourselves in some completely different kind of experience. Why? I really don't have all those answers other than it's beautiful in a way, right? It's a real awesome experience. Why do people strive to win the gold medal and go through so much pain? Right? That doesn't feel good, but they'll do it. They'll do it because they want to experience that. They experience the work, the hard work and the agony, because it's worth it to them to go back and create that triumph, to go create that something great. And that's all that we're doing here. It's our journey for the gold medal. It's waiting for you. Everybody gets one. Sending you light, love, prosperity, abundance, health, wealth. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, beyond your imagination. So you don't have to imagine it. Just be it. Allow it in. Send your energy out. You're loving, harmonious, and happy. You truly are. And I love you unconditionally. Namaste.